This is my second video update coming to you. Oh crap, I almost got hit by a car. Coming to you from Athens, Greece. And I gotta figure out a way to navigate this. One sec. All right, let's cross over. Not much of a sidewalk over there. All right, so let's do a second update. I'll make this one a quick one, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 stories I want to get to. Two bad decisions, 2 stories that are bad decisions, and 1 story that is a good decision, and then we'll do a clown world. And let's start things off with the 2 bad decisions. And of course, they're coming from the Bidenopolis White House, Greece's favorite son, and the Pirate of Brussels, Ursula von der Crazy. So let's start with the Biden White House and the G7. The G7 plus Australia. The G7 with Australia, they have decided to place a price cap on Russian oil, a fixed price cap on the price of Russian oil. And at first they were thinking about having the price float, being a floating cap, like a floating price pegged to the index, to the oil index. But they decided against that, and they're now just going to go with a fixed price cap, and they're going to review that price. The G7 countries plus Australia, they're going to review that price every so often and just make sure that, according to them, that Russia is not making money. They're not profiting from the sale of oil. Now, I don't think I need to get into too much detail as to why this is a terrible idea. But they've been wanting to put this price cap on Russian oil for, I don't know, 3-4 months now, especially Janet Yellen. She's been wanting to do this for a while. And interestingly enough, they wanted to get a larger consensus of countries. Like they wanted Europe in there, they wanted India. They were even talking about China getting involved. And I think that Yellen even came out with a statement saying that for this price cap to work, we have to get the whole world in on it. That's the only way we're going to force Russia to sell their oil at the price that we dictate. But they couldn't do it. They couldn't even get Europe on board for the most part, the entire EU. So they had to resort to the G7 plus Australia. Australia, what are you doing? What are you doing by going along with this crazy idea? This is going to be a disaster for the G7 plus Australia. It is going to be a disaster for them. Russia has already said that they're not going to sell their oil to countries that are trying to cap it. They said they're just not going to do it. And I think OPEC is not going to look at this too favorably either. Actually, OPEC Plus is going to be very pissed off about this price cap idea because, in essence, what is it saying? It is saying that we decide, the G7 plus Australia, we decide the price of oil from now on, not OPEC. You think OPEC is going to like that? You think MBS is going to think more favorably of Biden now? No chance. They are going to be, a market. All right. They are going to be super pissed off. Super pissed off. G7 and Australia are going to move in on their business. This is not going to turn out well for the G7 and Australia. It's not going to be good at all. But they had to do it. So we don't have many more details now. Like we don't know what price they're looking at and how the mechanisms are going to work. But I'm sure we'll get all the details in the next couple of weeks. I think this story was reported on by Reuters and Bloomberg. they have their sources. What an awesome market. So we're in the clothing section, but I'm sure we're going to end up in the food section very, very soon. It's a big market. Wow. Cool. So that is the news with the price cap. That is the one terrible idea. Let's get to the second terrible idea, and that has to do with the Pirate of Brussels, Ursula von der Crazy. And the news is, according to Bloomberg, that she has instructed lawyers to move ahead and find a way to seize the Russian assets, right? She is also pulling the trigger on trying to take this money of frozen Russian assets in Europe. She said about a week and a half ago, she said the goal is to seize, not to freeze. Seize means stealing in EU lingo. So they're just looking for a way to steal these assets. And Van der Crazy, what she said, this seize, not freeze statement, she said that the one roadblock, the one problem with all of this is trying to find a legal way, those were her words, a legal way to steal these Russian assets. And I've heard numbers from 100 billion to 300 billion, so I'm not even sure what the exact number is of Russian assets, but I imagine it's in the 300 billion range. Of course, the excuse that the EU uses to seize these assets, to steal these assets, is that the money's going to go to reconstructing Ukraine, right? Reconstructing Ukraine. So let's get the lawyers on it to make up new laws, make up new rules, and to package this as some sort of European legal right to seize Russian assets, to steal Russian assets. Russia's going to be pissed off about this. All kinds of countries are going to look at the European Union and they're going to say, geez, today they're going after Russian assets. Tomorrow they're going to come after my assets. That's what countries are going to say. That's what very wealthy oligarchs are going to say. Princes, kings, all these people that have their money stashed away in the European Union, they're going to say, time to move it out. Slowly, slowly, or quickly, quickly, they're going to bolt from the European Union, keeping their assets in the European Union. But seize those assets. That was Van der Crazy's plan. And she's moving ahead with it. The lawyers are going to figure out a way to bend the law, break the law, make it acceptable to steal assets. And what was I saying? The reconstruction. This money is going to reconstruct Ukraine, right? Yeah. If you believe that, then I've got a Greek market, outdoor market to sell you. If you believe that. Oh boy, what better country to wash money through than Ukraine, right? No better country than to take 300 billion and wash it through. And of course, you got to do it quickly before the collapse happens. That's why they're in such a rush. They got to get this money. They got to get this money out from its frozen state. Then they've got to wash it through Ukraine under the guise, under the BS that it's being used for reconstruction. And then they got to get the money out of Ukraine and into their pockets. And you're going to have to pay all kinds of middlemen and NGOs and construction companies and other businesses all along the way. Everyone's going to take their cut. Military generals, whatever. NATO, everyone's going to get their piece. They're 10% for the big guy. Everyone's going to get what's coming to them from the 300 billion. And this is going to be the last hurrah, the last big steal before the collapse happens. So, the EU is in a panic to get this through. That's why Van der Crazy said, lawyers, just get on it and make up new laws, do whatever you need to do so we can get this 300 billion. Fantastic. All right, we're at the end. It's always difficult doing videos with so many people walking through and so many people doing stuff, but it's also fun. Here we have the flowers. Nice flowers here. All right, so that is the other bad decision story. Now let's go to a good decision, and that has to do with the Russian Foreign Ministry and the announcement the other day that the Russian Foreign Ministry is going to be easing tourist visa restrictions, specifically for EU citizens, for EU travelers. So while the EU clamps down on Russians visiting the European Union, all the way to the point of banning Schengen visas and making it impossible for Russians to travel to the European Union, while they clamp down, Lavrov and the Foreign Ministry, they're opening up. And I don't have many details yet as to what's going to happen, but I think it's going to come into effect in June 2023. An easier, more streamlined, a simpler way to travel to Russia. Maybe in the form of an electronic visa. Maybe you'll be able to apply online, pay a very small amount, like $4 or $5, get it processed in a couple of days, and then you could probably travel to Russia as a tourist for like a month, for like 30 days. That would be awesome. That would be so awesome. And I've been talking about this in many videos about how the best move that Russia can make in retaliation to the European Union's banning of Russian tourists is to open it up for EU tourists. And I think the Foreign Ministry even said something along the lines of, we would like... One sec, I have to get around this truck here. I think they said something like, we would like Europeans to visit Russia. We want to make it easier for EU citizens to visit our country, to meet our people, to see the amazing architecture and art and history and nature and just all the things that Russia has to offer. And so the Foreign Ministry is doing a very good thing, very smart move. That's how you win at this game. Let them censor and ban and block. What you should do is you should open up and let people come to Russia and see for themselves everything that the country is about and everything that the country has to offer. And they'll be a changed person for life. They will be a changed person when they see, if they travel to Russia and they see what an amazing place it is for a tourist. And I'm just saying that as a tourist. It's not a political, I'm not saying this for any political reason. I'm just saying it's a cool place to visit. Many cool places in the world to visit. Greece is one of them. You can come to Greece as well and visit this cool place. But good move on from Russia and from the Foreign Ministry. That is how you do things. That is exactly how you win people over. Not with censorship, not with restrictions, but with openness and transparency. So that is the news with regards to the visa. June 2023, I think, is the date for all of this to come into effect. And when we get more details as to what you need to do in order to visit Russia, I'll report on it, because it's going to be of interest to many, many people, I believe, who want to travel, who love to travel. People who love to travel, I think it's going to be of interest. Let's do a clown world. Let's do a quick clown world now. And David Letterman, he used to be like the talk show king back in the day. He used to have the most popular talk show, and it was awesome. He would do these top 10 lists. He was like this rebel talk show host, you know? He was like against the establishment. He was like, you know, the rebel late night talk show guy. And he would do these really funny top 10 lists that everyone just loved. And eventually he just, you know, he retired and he went on his way, but now he's back with a new show. And the show is called something like, I don't need to introduce this guest, or something like that. It's some strange name, and it's like this interview format, and he sits down with famous people who need no introduction. I guess that's the premise of it. And in his latest episode, which is going to air at the end of the year, but he's already filmed it. It's an interview with the man himself, the clown puppet leader of Ukraine, Zelensky. And this episode is going to be filmed in a metro station in Kiev, of course. And, well, that's it. David Letterman is going to be interviewing Zelensky. And I don't know what they talked about. I haven't seen any transcripts or anything like that. And nor do I really care, to be quite honest. I just think this is an interesting clown world, because it just shows that all of this is just theater for them. I mean, for them, this is acting. You know, this is theater, theatrics. This is a part. This is the role of a lifetime. For Zelensky, for Letterman, this is great for ratings and to pump up his show. I don't even know how popular his show is, but, you know, he gets to pump it up. Say he's got Zelensky to interview in a Kiev metro. It's all theatrics. I kind of find it despicable, if you want my opinion. I find this just awful. As your country is going through all of this, you're giving interviews to David Letterman. I just find that so, I don't know. It just doesn't sit well, but these are actors. These are people who are playing a part. They are playing a part in this theater. Unfortunately, this theater is getting very, very dangerous for the rest of us, for all of us normal, everyday people. This is getting very, very scary. But for Zelensky, for Letterman, it's just all a day's work, isn't it? Anyway, that is the video, guys. theduran.locals.com. Look for Alexander's channel. Look for the Duran's channel. Go to the Duran shop. 10% off. Use the code. Good day. I'm signing out from Athens, Greece. Take care.